Good evening, everyone. Today, I have to do the Mind to Wealth program by myself. Bradley was sick today, so I have a special guest today. And Shane Wilson, I asked him if he can join me. Shane Wilson has been in our program, in our School of Trading program for trading. And I realized, I see a lot of change in Shane. So I decided, he could inspire people. Today we're going to be talking about where do we start our transition. Where did he start? So I'm going to ask him a few questions and see what he's thinking about his transition, where he started, and what happened. Right? How are you, Shane? We are live now. If
Good.
anybody wants to comment, please put your comment down as well.
How are we?
Fine. Yeah, we are live now. Shane, uh, tell me about yourself and the time when you actually started to realizing, because in my book I'm mentioning this and I'm saying the first step to change is to actually realizing it. You need to change because there are many people, they actually um, stay in denial for many years or maybe all their life. They literally completely deny they need to change and how they feel and everything. So for example, mine was when I had a bike accident, right? So that happened to me. I realized, what, I'm tired of feeling like this and I need to change. So when was yours and how did you realize you need to change?
Oh, I think no matter who you are, I think from
Mm,
a young age, when we're born, we have no external influences. Everything's pure. Your thoughts are pure. And as we go through life, we pick up experiences, sort of negative experiences that impact on our lives. We're fed negative news from the television. You get all
mm,
these negative. You get social media with negative posts and people loving all the negativity. So it's like negative.
yeah, yeah,
And all this negative just comes to you and it just filters into your body and it drains you. It's exhausting.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
things can happen in your life, like things happen in your life that can make you feel a certain way. I mean, I was unfortunate enough that I had twin boys, and then one of my boys died at 4.5, and it was like awful. Just it hits you like a freight train, and you think, I'm never going to get over this. You don't want to carry on, but
You see, that's
life,
the thing. Some people, they mask it, right? I didn't even know about you having that problem until you told me when
mm,
we were in
yeah,
a coaching session. I
yeah.
was thinking like this guy is into his music, like he never been married, he never had any children. I didn't even think of all this stuff, right? And uh, and then I apologized. I said, what, I shouldn't have judging because what I was saying was totally different what you actually was
Yeah,
doing, underneath.
but
And I can see a massive difference now.
that's a people's perception of you,
Yeah,
isn't it? But I think when a dramatic thing like that happens in your life, it does change you as a person. It does have an impact on you. You try and lift yourself out of it, but it's not easy to lift yourself out of something so like um sort of drastic. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think you've got to try and find your own
You
way
see,
out.
like the moment I decided to change was when I actually got really tired of it. It was very draining to be miserable and horrible because everything was going wrong for me. I saw everybody against me. I saw everybody as the reason for my failures. And I had to stop that. I couldn't get no better result. Every day was the same. And I got really tired of it. I said, you know what, that's it. I had enough. I'm not going to continue like this. Did you have some moment like this? I'm going to,
That's like the blame game, isn't it?
yeah,
That's like blaming everything, everybody else for the things that
yeah,
happen to you. And yeah, I think you do feel like you're like, why me? Why did this happen to me? Do you know what I mean? Am I a bad person?
yeah.
You start to question yourself, and you
Asking the
say,
wrong question.
yeah, absolutely. You start asking this, but I think you stay in that space for a while, and I don't think
Mm.
you even realize that you're there.
No, no.
Um,
Until you actually feel like, you know what? Why am I feeling like this?
yeah,
Until you get to the end of it.
yeah. I
And
think
until you don't decide to change, nobody can change you.
no, you can't change it. You'll just stay the same. I mean, you'll always point the finger at everybody else, and
Mm.
this could be their fault. It could be their fault. But then you get an awakening. Like my awakening was probably when one of my good friends asked me to join an online network marketing business, and part of that training was we used to have like team huddles on Zoom, and it was very positive and stuff. And they used to say recommend books to read, stuff for personal development to sort of like help yourself grow.
Mm.
But then you can be in denial because I was like, this was
What are
like,
you talking about? That's me. Like, what are you talking about? This fluff. Don't
yeah,
talk about this fluff with me.
but that must have been 10 years after the boy had died because that was 2004. This was about 2000, no, 20 years. This is 2015. This is 21.
That long you hold on to the pain.
Yes, that's what I mean. I really didn't until I've just calculated that now. What was
Oh
that?
my God.
2004 till 2015? No, 11 years.
You see, sometimes, we don't even realize how long we've been hold
Yeah,
on to the pain,
long time. I mean, I couldn't really work it out when I was trying to. Yeah, 2004 to 2015 is 11 years.
Wow.
Long time. But then I started to read personal development books, and
How did you feel it during that time? Like, I guess, like, really, like,
yeah, I think
it wasn't the best time, was it?
the first year was really tough.
Yeah.
And then the first anniversary was tough and that, but I didn't. I'm not one of these people like that post on social media about it. I mean, you get people every
You kept
anniversary.
it inside. You kept the pain inside,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah. But you'll get people that will post every anniversary because they want the attention,
Mm.
they want the sympathy of people. But
Yes, yes.
it's the sympathy seekers. But like, I don't feel the need to post
Mm,
about the day he died
mm,
every year. Just
yeah,
it's a day. I remember the day.
yeah.
I acknowledge the day. I
But you
don't.
don't want to go back again to that story and like
Yeah,
remember all the whole
I
this. Yeah.
acknowledge the
I
day. Yeah,
understand. Yeah.
I know it's the day he died, but I'm not gonna play it over. I'm not. That's
Mm.
history now. It's consigned to history, and it's yeah. I'll never forget. But I'm not like gonna be going to.
Some people they see this as like you being cold, but I don't think you've been cold because I know you
No,
really well. I think
absolutely.
you literally just deciding to celebrate it in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of going back to the pain, you're trying to memorize it in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So when you started your journey of self-development, how do you feel now? Like because I can see a massive difference.
Oh, well, I was on my journey anyway, as I said, doing the other business.
Mm,
And I connected with you, being in Birmingham and obviously coming down here because I had examiner training and stuff. So I connected with you as an instructor because I was an instructor at the time. And then I thought, oh, Ali writes these quotes and that and positive stuff. So like the connection was there. And I thought,
mm,
right, that's why I friended you. And then I seen the positive stuff coming for you. And I was doing a similar thing. And I was like, right, yeah, connect with people that are on a similar journey to you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
And
vibration, isn't it? Like the vibration,
the
my
vibration,
vibration
exactly,
drawn you in. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And that's why I was drawn to you on Facebook.
That's
But I
one of the
did,
things we talk about in this training. We talk about the vibration and how the brain vibration. We
absolutely,
recognize each other.
you don't, I think subconsciously, you're not aware of the vibration as much, but
Yeah,
subconsciously you must pick up on it. And
yeah,
that's what draws you to it.
yeah,
But it's just phenomenal. Like from last September, my journey's just because I was reading a lot of books,
yeah.
stuff like Jen Cicero, You're a Badass, Jordan Adler Beach Money, stuff about lifestyle. But then since I started in September with you and done the psychology part, of which I didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, you ran away. The first station, you ran off. You just turned the camera off. You just went off. Yeah,
Awful. Because when you get your face read by
yeah.
somebody who can read
You
facial,
didn't want to look in the camera. You
you don't want to look
literally
at the
put it
camera.
all the time down.
You don't, yeah, I was looking down because you don't want to look at the camera because they
Yeah,
can read your face like a
yeah,
book and they can, and it was so accurate. I just was like, this isn't, this is just not for me. But then you open up to it, I think. You've got
yeah.
to,
Show my vulnerability. I felt the same way. Yeah.
absolutely, you've got to open up and you've got to embrace it and accept it. You might not understand what changes are going on in your mind,
Mm.
but you can, with the coaches, you can ask them questions and you can sort of try and gain an understanding of what's changing in here and how you've transitioned and how you've progressed and how you've become more positive and how you became this person that you're looking at in the camera. You think, what's happened to me?
It wasn't overnight, was it? Because how long
Oh,
it took you to be depressed? Like, how long it took you to cause all that sadness to yourself?
Well, God, well, I said, didn't I? What was it?
20 years? Like mine was
11,
35 years.
11 years, but then you start to work on it, and you
But you
work.
can't change overnight. It's like a process, it's not like overnight click, is it?
No, it's not. It's a continual process. You've always got to work on your mindset, and I think because you'll always get external influences that will try and knock it a bit. That's why you've
Mm.
got to keep feeding it with positive and keep sort of like working on it to sort of like fine tune it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think like you're since September, you joined the course? Do you think you are more focused now? You know exactly what book you have to read. You know exactly where you're going. Like you have a proper plan. Because before, it sounded like you are very confused. You were doing self-development, but it was all over the place, right? And we haven't got that much time to sit down and read all these books. Literally, you need to know exactly what book you need to read according to where you are going.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think you are more focused now. You're literally trying to be expert, in your area. And I'm very proud of you because you are at the level which you are very close to be ready to be one of the coaches, and you can start, working with the Mind to Well program, with our trading program. If anybody wants to learn that, it's been awesome. How do you feel yourself? That's my feeling. Well, how do you feel yourself?
Yeah, I feel. I think you don't realize how far you've come until other people see it. I think,
Mm,
and other people start mentioning it because I think I've always had a really hard work ethic, a bit like you. I
mm,
can work, work, work. I've got a phenomenal work ethic. I've always
mm,
been a bit of a workaholic in anything I do, whether it's the music or
mm. Yeah,
whether it's the charts, whether it's reading, and I study, 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 and I try and push myself to be at the best level I can be.
but imagine now if you focus all of it in one direction.
Yeah,
Wow, boom.
absolutely.
Not
Yes,
be all over place. Read little bit of that, little bit of that,
yeah,
little bit of this, do little bit of this.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I've got to drop that. That's still a bit of a thing I've got to work on because I don't think you can ever be perfect. We've all got.
These things you say now, I think you realize most of it in our psychology sessions because we talk about it, we ask the right question instead of letting you just go and ask the wrong question. We start asking the right question. That's what coaches do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Where do you think people, if somebody actually does, how can people realize they need to start to do self-development?
I think you've got
What
to.
advice would you give them? Where would they start? Like, how can they realize they need to start in self-development?
I think they need to become a bit aware of their emotions and the feelings. I think you really need to know on a daily basis sort of where your emotions lie, yeah, and what type of feelings you've got coming from within. Because
Mm,
otherwise, if you're not aware of your emotions or the feelings that you've got, how do you know what needs changed?
absolutely.
It's
And
true.
when you are aware of it, then where can they start? What do they have to do? Because I mention all this in my book as well, and I know, you being around me, you literally follow step by step, and I can see the change as well. What do you suggest to them?
Well, I think you need somebody like a certain lady that can read faces.
Yeah, she's gonna be in our program as well. We're gonna run the program together. Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah, with
needs to be on
Esther.
the
Yeah,
program. She's
she is
really,
on the program. Yeah,
yeah,
Esther Carter and me, both of us, we're gonna be running the program. Yeah.
yeah, somebody like that. Because I think that was the start of that
Read
first.
in your face.
You can read it. God, it was just phenomenal. And like,
Right. As soon as you left that day, I said, "Oh my God, we need to work on this one."
yeah, like he won't come back not after that session because she read me like a book, and I was like, I've never met her before, but how can she read my face so well? But people
Yeah.
are experienced in this field, aren't they? And they can sort of know what's going on in here by reading here, by what
Mm,
you're showing. It's great.
yeah. That's why I spoke to her the other day, and we decided if we're gonna be running this program, she's gonna be in the program as well. Also, she's gonna do some live with me as well. But we're literally trying to see, how we can help people because for you to be able to make money and become the person you want to be, you gotta work on your mind first.
Absolutely.
I worked on my mind first before I start working on my skill to make money. Because if you are still on the level where you are still blaming other people, you're never going to move forward. You need to say, you know what, okay, I'm in this level, I need to change, I need to do this, and this is my plan. Now if also, if you need help, just reach out, isn't it? Like some
Abs-
people, they find it very difficult to reach out.
Yeah, I think some people are just they don't like to reach out for help because they're very they think it's a sign of weakness. But
Mm,
could be. But if they can't help themselves, it just means they need somebody externally that could perhaps help them. I mean, it could be the slightest little thing. A certain coach, you could do sort of like a one-to-one call with them, sort of like a session, and
mm,
something could just trigger off that one session that could just start them on the journey to start
mm,
improving. You know, it could be the
mm,
smallest thing on that
mm.
first step, and that's, excuse me, that's my
Yeah,
phone. I'm just going to stop it. And that could be the first step to them improving, you know,
yeah,
step by
yeah.
step.
How can you help somebody to realize? How can you take them to that level to realize, okay, I need to change. This is my point. I need to change now. How can you take someone to that level? Can you take someone to that level, or they have to reach it themselves?
I think they have to want to change. I think
Mm,
to realize that something has to change, and then they need to sort of like pinpoint what needs to change. Is it them? But they
mm,
need to look at themselves first because they could be doing the blame game. They could be blaming everybody
yeah,
else. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? So
mm,
that person would have to take a look at themselves and think, maybe it isn't these, maybe it is me,
mm,
maybe I need work on me.
mm.
But if
But
for
that's
me,
exactly what I'm mentioning inside my book. Is the work of Dr. Michael Bedwick, and he's talking about the four stages of human being. The first stage is, which is 90%. That's a high number. 90% of people, they are living on a victim mode
yeah,
all their life. That's a high number.
yeah,
90%. That's a high
most
number. That's why we have all this argument and everything, because nobody wants to take responsibility, and that's why we have to have a law to force people to take responsibility for things. So, and then after that, they can start working on themselves by self-development, reading, watching, positive stuff, literally controlling everything what goes inside their head, to move to the next level, which is the manifestation level. I call it the moving from the dark to light. And you start to see some light. You start to see the different yourself, but still you need to keep topping it up, with positive stuff. Do you agree with that?
absolutely, 100%. You've got so much negative external influences on a daily basis that get thrown at you. They'll come from the radio, depressing news on the radio station when you're in the car. You've got the media thrown, it's all negative, negative. The newspapers are negative to sell
Mm.
papers. And you've just got to try and feed yourself with positive stuff, not to be
Is it
bogged.
possible for somebody who's moved now to the manifestation level, which is the next level after being a victim? Is it possible for somebody to go back?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you don't keep up the feeding of the positive and start to keep personal development is a continuous journey. It doesn't end.
Lifestyle, isn't it? It's lifestyle.
Yeah, you've got to continue on it. Once you start, you've just to keep going and going and going and going and going. There is no end to it. It doesn't stop. If you stop, then you're going to revert back. You're going to reverse back to that start position. That's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's same as losing weight, isn't it? Right?
I've
I
been,
got it. I've been really good. I've been really good now, right? So, and I feel much more better, right? I haven't been eating no chocolate, no Kit Kat, no nothing. So literally, sugar is out of my life at the moment.
I've
Yeah,
gone the
yeah,
I've,
I'm literally taking it very seriously because
since
I neglect. Yeah,
I've started to just eat crisps and junk, and it's like stop.
it needs to stop. Yeah, yeah.
'Cause
So
I lost 3 stone this year until I started back at work. But
you see, because you have the determination.
yeah,
You actually have a very determined mind and focused one, and I love it because that's a mind you need to become successful. When I said to you, listen, you want to learn, the trading, you said to me, yes, I want to learn it. I said, exactly do what I'm telling you. And you are really good at it now. You're reading the chart, you're really good. So well done to you for that one. But it's same as losing weight, isn't it? Like, you can lose 30 kilo, 40 kilo. I lost 20 kilo. I went on holiday for 4 weeks, and I was really healthy then. And then I was walking every day, and it was really great. But then when I came back again, I went back to my bad habits of just sitting on the sofa, not doing exercise, and you thinking
that's
like,
no.
you lost the weight now, so you can carry on and move on to something else. But self development is the same as losing weight, isn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's a mindset thing again, isn't it? You've got to work on that mindset because I remember stopping smoking. I remember I was quite a heavy smoker. And one day I woke up and went,
Really?
listen,
You don't even look like somebody who's been smoking.
absolutely. I used to smoke like a chimney. But one day I woke up, Ali, and I went, I'm not spending another penny on cigarettes. And I didn't have one patch, nothing. I just switched that part of my brain off, laser focused. I'm sure you
That's
did
what we
this.
call breakthrough point. Breakthrough point.
Yeah, absolutely. You reach this point and you're going, right, this is my
That's it.
mind. I control what happens up here. I'm never smoking again. I've made the decision. I'm stubborn. I'm not going to go back on that decision ever again. And I haven't. That's it.
It's not
The
just being
flip.
a stubborn because I did the same thing last year for giving up smoking. Is the consistency you have on your decision and respecting your own decision. I tried to give up smoking many times and I couldn't give it up. But this year, as soon as my son came to me and he said to me, "Listen, I want to be like you. When can I start smoking?" I said, "What?" Like literally, he coached me, and he gave me a very strong why I need to stop smoking. I said, "No, this has been a very stupid thing I've been doing. It's a bad habit, and you shouldn't be doing it." He said, "But Dad, I want to be like you. So how come you're smoking?" I said, "No, I've been very stupid. I'm not gonna." I literally dropped that half. I didn't even know he knows I'm smoking, but he's been
You're,
watching me from the camera, security camera. The kids,
and you're a
they
role
he's been
model.
watching me.
You're a role model, you see. The
That's it.
father
I
figure.
decided, look, that was a breakthrough moment. I decided that last cigarette, and I decided, what, I'm not gonna go. And I hated it now. Like somebody tried to smoke and they passed by me. I just hate it. But
That's
self-development is not like this, is it?
that's the start of your transition to stopping because
Yeah.
you said where you start a transition, that was your trigger point. And I do believe people will have these trigger points where they'll realize that something needs to change, but
Something needs to change.
they need to recognize that trigger point, and that was you recognizing your trigger point at then, you know.
I think self-development and working on yourself is a habit, and you have to create that habit. I feel guilty now for not
there's
reading book, even though I
there's a
grew
book
up in a family which they didn't read that much book. Like my mom and dad, I never saw them having a book in their hand.
there's a book, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, isn't there?
Yeah,
You've got,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't remember who it was by now.
Literally, self-development is a habit. You have to create it in yourself. Start. I remember when I was a driving instructor and I was on the level of manifestation, just to start to come out of being a victim of. Every 2 hours, I was playing, motivational stuff for myself. I was playing positive stuff in the car between people until at the end, it got to the point where I was actually playing it while I was, instead of music, I was playing those stuff while I was teaching. And then sometimes people used to ask me turn it off. I used to turn it off because not everybody's into this stuff and not everybody actually understand it. At the beginning, I couldn't understand it. Did you feel the same? I couldn't understand what they're talking about. I had to like read the same book few times to understand
Yeah,
what this book is trying to tell me.
absolutely. I think on first read you only take a certain percentage of stuff from the book, but I think when you reread it, you'll take something different. And I think that's the same when you're reading books or when you're listening to audiobooks, you'll take something different from it each time. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? So some of them do take more than one read because I mean I've read a few of them 2 or 3 times, and the next time you read it, you take something different from it. You might not realize you're taking something different from it, but
Yeah,
I think you
yeah,
do.
yeah. I
Absolutely.
start actually
And then
taking note. I start taking note actually.
I always have positive around I will succeed. Where are we there?
Well, I should show you. I've got it everywhere, all in my room. Because look, you gotta keep working on yourself. Because, but after when you created that habit, you feel guilty not doing it, isn't it? Like now, I
Absolutely.
feel guilty not working on myself. I feel guilty. It's the exact same as going to gym. When you create the habit, you feel like, oh my god, I miss my reading. I miss my, working on my mind.
Yeah, they say it takes 21 days, don't they, to create a new habit. So I find
Are
that
you in
if you
that
do,
habit now?
yeah, absolutely.
Do you
Love
feel
it. You've
guilty
got
as well when you don't work on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to make time to do it. You've just got to like it's best to sort of reach a certain time in the day and try to do it at a similar time every day, because that's how you're going to create a solid habit. If you keep sort of like, I haven't got time to do it, I'll push it to this time, it's not really consistent and it can move and you can miss it easier. I think I find the best way to do it is be more specific with the time when you should be doing it and stick
That's one
rigidly.
of the things I'm talking in my book. You have to create habits, to be able to change this stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Uh, Final advice, if you want to give any advice to anybody, where do you think, what advice would you give to people? Imagine somebody now is watching this and is really in a bad point in their life.
I
What
think
would you tell them?
I think when you've reached that bad point in your life and you're at the bottom, I think the only way is up, but you need a stepping stone. You need somewhere to start. So you'll have to just sort of like take a good look at yourself, how you're feeling. Yeah. Try and like be aware of your thoughts, and what's affecting your emotions externally. Yeah. And look at what you can change and just start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. Just take the first
Self-improvement.
step. Yeah. Take the first step of personal development, or with a coach that can read your emotions and face whisperers, or yeah, stuff
Come
like
and
that.
join us.
And just start somewhere, and
You got
just
to start from someone.
you've got to start and take that first step, but then you need to just continue with it, and you need to trust the process. I think you've got to
Is the
just trust the
process.
process, because many others before you have done it and it's worked for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to trust the process and just put your trust in it and follow,
Mm.
and just take other people's advice. Don't be frightened to reach out for help as well.
Taking other people advice. I think people have to be careful when they taking advice. They have to be aware of the intention of the advice. When someone's giving advice, do they actually want you to do well, or is it out of the fear of themselves they trying to give you advice?
You have to
Some
make,
people, their advice is not helpful.
but you have to make that judgment. You have to see if
Mm.
that advice serves you well.
Yeah,
You
who's
have to
giving you the advice?
yeah,
The person giving
see
you.
who's giving it, and then you have to think about it. And is that going to serve me in my journey? Is that going to help
Mm.
me with my first step?
Mm.
Would that help me with my second? If it doesn't, you need to discredit that advice, because you remember you're still going to have negative trying to influence on what you when you're trying to be positive. You know,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Shane, it's been a great pleasure having you in this program. Hopefully, we're gonna have more live video. And you know what? Great progress, mate. Well done to you. Very proud of you. And thank you for coming to our program. And giving us that chance to be on your side. In your journey, and many more things we're going to be doing together. Hopefully, you're going to do the training to become one of the coaches and help other people. It's about giving the message to other people as well, helping other people. When you achieve that level yourself, now it's your duty to help other people. And that's my mission, to now I need to pass on the bat to somebody else so they can pass it to somebody else, and then
Absolutely.
we can spread the message to everybody. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Cheers, Ali.
Bye bye.
All right.